Okay, you're back at Higher Density Living, and I'm going to let Jason take it off on this episode. Whoa!
Whoa.
I don't know why the intro hit twice,
Jason's
but
taking off. I'm taking off.
yeah, Jason's taking off in his ship.
Yeah, in a banana shaped.
Yeah, with a knob head.
Crap.
With a long torso and a knob head.
Yeah, if you don't understand that, listen to the last episode. You'll get that.
Yeah.
First of all, one thing I want to say to make sure we're ultra clear is Higher Density Living. We don't take we're agnostic towards UFO sightings. We're not saying that this report is true or this one's not. Also, we don't want to make light of what is going on in Ukraine and Russia. But there are a lot of Ukrainian UFO sightings right now. What people are believing are sightings in Russia and in Ukraine at this moment. We do know that there's a lot of sightings that happen whenever nuclear is involved, whenever missiles are involved, whenever there's a conflict, as we saw in the United States here, we saw in Russia in the past. We saw issues with India and China when the nukes were going up, North Korea, all those areas, Iraq. So we see this pattern and correlation. But what we're going to talk about right now is an article that whether it's true or not, we don't know. And also at Higher Density Living, we do not want to make light of the Ukrainian-Russian conflict or the people that have, died in that conflict. But we do love to talk about UFO sightings. So this is really, this is something that we're seeing, we're hearing, we're getting a lot of news info. I just had an email sent to me the other day talking about Ukrainian UFO sightings. But this one, I want to get into this and just stop me.
Yeah, kick it off.
So according to this, UFO sightings were over Ukraine, and then one attacked a Russian tank. And then as we talked about last episode, then there's been a ton of, the article says, while other UFOs have been spotted over Russia. In a recent story, an expert on extraterrestrials and UFOs suggests that Russia invaded Ukraine in order to obtain possession of an alien space ark. So alien space ark. That is interesting wording. When you think of like everybody thinks of an ark, whether it's, and we always think of biblical Ark of the Covenant, Noah's Ark.
It's something that carries something else, right? It's something that tries to preserve things for posterity and history, but apparently this is a historical extraterrestrial item that somebody wants to control, just from this article.
Yeah, and so Russia invaded Ukraine in order to grab this because according to this, there was an underground hiding place. It flew into the air, and mainstream military news organizations, social media outlets, they have not reported on the incident, but there's been a lot of talk on it. People's talk, they've made videos and stuff on it. And then, not only are you seeing all these sightings, but then they've also, supposedly there was a UFO appeared to engage in combat with Russian tanks.
Do you know what that tells me? It tells me that ship, that technology is operated by terrestrial human beings. No way, shape, or form would someone with an advanced technology come down here and just start wailing on Russian tanks. What's the point? This is probably, if it's
a drone,
legit,
plane.
That means it's local technology, and we'd say it's a UFO because it's a little bit further ahead. But people said the same thing about the SR-71 Blackbird. They're like, that thing exists, or the TR-3B. They're like, that thing exists. Well, yeah, it's been around since like the 90s. So I guess when this is occurring, I don't think it's a UFO if it's a legit statement that came from some other earthly planet, from some other civilization, but technology that is very local to people here of Earth.
Well, they give a clue in the CBN News article. Okay. They say that the spacecraft, as it was attacking the Russians, there was some sort of lightning in the sky and sparks began to fly everywhere.
There was lightning in the sky. Was it got like a plasma weapon on it?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. And we know that we did a whole nuclear episode on an aircraft that was, messed around in the 80s. Mm-hmm. So, to be able to have something that is creating, I mean, what do you have to, what happens to what is it, positive ions get charged in the atmosphere that creates lightning?
Yeah. It's ions, it's temperature. There's so many things that occur atmospherically that allow for that electrical charge to occur, and then superheating, essentially that atmosphere itself, creating that plasma. So whatever it is, it's generating a lot of volts if it's doing that. And what's interesting here is there's a question in the next part of the article here. And someone asks, well, why aren't these extraterrestrials intervening to resolve our era's problems? Well, you and I have talked about this many times. It's not their job. It's not their problem. These are things that we have desired through the course of our own choice making here on Earth as human beings to create these probabilities, to create these conflicts. And why would someone step in here and then go against our free will? This is something we clearly desired. We can't say we didn't expect these things to happen. People just weren't paying attention. They weren't thinking about the systemic effects of the choices that they make. I know that's a difficult thing for people to chew on, but these things have been in process for a long time. You have actually desired this. We have desired, in a sense, climate instability through our own choices. We can't just plead ignorance to something that we are completely the cause of. You feel me here?
Yeah, 100%. And I think this is so important that people recognize this, because, in this article, they talked about, like, one Ukrainian father was talking about it's a divine intervention and deities and stuff like that. And however you want to interpret it, down through the centuries, we know people have interpreted aliens, UFOs, extraterrestrials as being, deities, and, they've created gods and stuff like that. The Egyptians did that. Yeah. But whenever you look at something like this, you have to be very careful in instantly going to the UFO scenario, because I think it's very, very important. Why wouldn't Russia experiment with some of their aircraft that they've kept secret? Yeah. Why wouldn't they fly a couple missions now? You know what I mean?
And then people don't even have to think as Russians. They'll be like, oh my gosh, it must be invaders from outer space. Perfect narrative. It's like, no, it's Russian tech. It's been around forever. There was reports of South Africa having high tech, in Canada, places that we don't even think about. You know what I mean? Places that really aren't on the radar for a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, this could have been a clandestine NATO.
That's what I mean. We have no clue.
If it's attacking Russians, and that's true, then it could have been something of that nature, But I agree with you 100%. I think this situation is definitely something that is man-made.
Yeah, it has to be,
because there's no way, no civilization that's been around and with higher consciousness is going to go against our free will and pick a side.
Ever. No, it's ridiculous. Would they want that to happen to themselves? Absolutely not. So why would they do that same thing to others? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I love at the article they talk about this, kind of towards the end. They say, would we truly be willing to trade our humanity for extraterrestrial assistance?
That's exactly the point, right? So we've desired this. This is a function of our own learning and existence. Do we just want to give that up so that we can have somebody else solve everything for us? Like, no. We'll never learn a lesson at that point, right?
Yeah, and socioeconomic issues, religious issues. I mean, they know this. If they come down, they've tried this multiple times. We see this with the Egyptians. We see this with the Aztecs. We can see these when they've come down to, and they've even talked about this. I think was it Billy Meyer case that brought this up? Whenever that the mistakes that were made when they came down.
Oh, yeah. Billy Meyer case talked about it, and so did Ra. They said, we came down thinking that in this format we could help, but really it did more harm. Happens all the time.
Yeah.
You and I not do an episode on how to serve properly?
Yeah. We just did that, 3 episodes ago? Yeah.
Someone came down, someone didn't ask, and they thought this is just best for us, and we're going to do this. And then what happened? Worship, war, priesthoods, hierarchies, all this other crap started happening. So you don't realize that it creates way more harm than good. You just got to look at it logically.
But also, you have to look at this too. Where do you land? Who do you shake hands with first?
Yeah. Probably smaller.
If they landed in the United States, everybody's, we're so narcissistic here. Oh, they landed in the United States, land of the free, freedom. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, classic.
What are they going to do? Okay, president, awesome. We're aliens. We want to introduce ourselves to you. Do you land at the UN?
No, you wouldn't even do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like
they know that whole thing's a mess anyway.
Lose.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
You're going to polarize. We've already look what we've done. They know with the spacecraft that have fallen, issues that have came at, we've already reverse engineered shit so fucking much, and we use it for the military industrial complex. All nations have done that.
All the time.
They get a UFO, anything, they're going to use it in the military industrial complex, period.
Jason, did you have Velcro on your fatigues when you were in the military?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Did you guys use fiber optics for your telecommunication?
All the time back in the day.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Did you use Teflon grease for your gearing?
Yep, 100%.
Oh, this is so strange. Wow. But yeah, that's the point. So just look at it reasonably. Whether this is true or not, I'd love to see some more evidence. But it's interesting. But it also shows you, some of the questions they're asking, it's like, well, why won't they do this? Well, it seems inherently obvious. But to me, it seems like a locally created technology that is easily poised as some sort of higher tech coming from somebody else.
Yeah, and that's the thing, that once you begin to give up your free will, whether it's to a human or to an extraterrestrial nation, then you automatically, you shared that with a long time ago, and it's such a great filter. It's like, is this going against my free will right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no? Is this trying to harm my free will? You look at it that way, and because it's that serious. Then Precisely. You know that if you want to say right or wrong or whatever, then you know it's wrong. You know it's evil. Whatever word you want to ascribe to it, it has nothing. Whether it's a religion, whatever it may be, and we've talked about this 1,000 times. Nothing is going to come down out of the sky and shoot a bunch of Russians.
Never.
That's just not. No matter if they were service to self, they're not going to involve themselves in any format, in any type of war.
Too barbaric. It's far too barbaric. You look at war and be like, what are you doing? You understand the value of life. You have a higher reverence for it. You would not pull that sort of stunt. It wouldn't be worth your time. It would be anti-creational to do something like that.
Yeah, and it's sad we're in 2022 and this is what we're facing. But I mean, we did the same thing. That's the thing, is like, that's why I try to tell people, we've invaded countries. Last 25 years, we've been invading the Middle East.
I know. Jason, 50 years ago, there were still lynch mobs in the United States.
Yes, exactly.
It's like...
It's the color of your skin.
Yeah, like, come on. Like, please. So we just ask that everyone think it through. I'm glad we got to talk about this and see if it was reasonable. So I appreciate you bringing that up. But at the end of the day, there's only one thing we got to remember. And that's
Tartle.co.
Tartle.co, and all is one.